Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nerd Chronicles, with your host, the socially awkward nerd Christian Paul speaking. And ladies and gentlemen, I just found out some unexpected news that came up out of the social media streets in regarding to one Jack Denmo. Juicy, 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 juicy. Juicy!
A man accused of sexually assaulting a former McMaster student on video told a Hamilton court today the reason why he decided to record the alleged sexual assault. Pseudo joined us earlier with more.
A central point in today's cross-examination was a video Densmore says he began to film before getting consent. This is the first of two sexual assault trials he faces, but Densmore and his family seem to be in good spirits on their way out of court today. Jack Densmore is used to being on camera. The YouTuber is known for posting videos with university students who appear to be intoxicated. His YouTube account has hundreds of thousands of followers. Today he testified why he decided to record video on the night that landed him in criminal court. His explanation, quote, to prevent this. The student who launched the complaint was not in court today, having testified earlier. She said that when she matched with Densmore on Tinder, she knew who he was. He then messaged her on Instagram and acknowledged in court today that he reached out, initiated plans for a date, and followed up to make sure it happened. They agreed to a hike and then drinks on August 5, 2020. Neither panned out. They wound up watching Netflix on Densmore's bed in his mountain home. When they kissed, it was consensual, she said. She told the court the touching that came after was too, until it wasn't. The complainant testified that Densmore forced her to give him oral sex and filmed her doing it without her consent, then forced her into vaginal sex. But Densmore told the court it was all consensual, and when she objected to the video, he deleted it in front of her. During his testimony, Densmore said he was filming a consent video, following advice from musicians, athletes, and other people he'd met at the time. He says he didn't ask her before hitting record and started filming without her knowledge. He added that his intent was to ask her on camera if she consents. He said, quote, in the past when I would hook up with girls, in particular girls I didn't know very well, if I had a weird feeling, then I would record a consent video while we were having sex. I pulled the phone out, started recording, but she moved her head back, which made me think she didn't want to be recorded, so I stopped recording. Densmore said he thought it was appropriate. There were a lot of parties, a lot of women. Densmore denies that the complainant pushed him or his hand away at any point in the night and that he was aggressive. Densmore's trial will resume with closing arguments on Friday morning.
Juicy! So, ladies and gentlemen, many of y'all mainly know Denmo or Jack Denmo that you see up in the YouTube streets, the pseudo alpha guru that actually just mainly comes to ride, films college lifestyles, actually films a lot of college parties, a lot of college students really doing like a lot of wild shit, literally wild college students really getting active, literally going gun-ho, living the bright lights, living the party life, actually doing their off days, the whole 9 yards, and all of a sudden he's out here mainly giving advice to men and giving out pseudo red pill content on how to improve as men, giving out the same red pill ideology that Andrew Tate Fresh and Fit, entrepreneurs in cars just mainly give about. Homeboy here, what we know, he has been accused, he has been gone trial for 2 active cases in regards to sexual assault of women. Okay? The first one was involving a college teen or college freshman at the time, around 3-4 years ago, around the year 2020, in which he was accused of actual rape as well as sexual assault. So clearly some scrambled egg violations that mainly went down. And y'all, when I looked up into the local newspaper and saw the local video and actually read into the details of that whole story, I was literally beyond appalled and I was literally beyond sickened. Because there's actual legitimate DNA evidence that literally further confirmed that victim's story on what she really went through, which is beyond sick and insane to the head. And I'm actually going to detail all of this stuff literally down the line up in this video. We found out in that first case, Denmo, was the Canadian courts actually recognized him as Jack Densmore. He was found guilty on all counts, right in front of a judge, no jury involved. Only the judge has to actually read that analysis. He was able to make the exception and is able to find him guilty as a result of that. Now, sentencing should be due sometime later this year, in which he faces literally up to over a decade in prison off of that. In Canadian prison, which is literally serious. It's literally no joke. Sin and shame. It is serious to literally try to face something in that matter while Denmo is literally putting himself in that position. And he got a second trial ongoing in regards to the same thing in regards to voyeurism. So I want to actually ask, the people that actually mainly view him and actually view him as God and actually take him as like a legitimate, credible source. Is he your motherfucking alpha guru? I need you to actually please take a moment, take a moment here what I'm actually saying, actually think about what I'm actually asking you to see if actually he put like any thorough positive impact on your life, while he has a bunch of hidden skeletons really behind the scenes while posting out content month after month after month.
Oh, I'll punch you in the face, honestly.
Only my mans know that though. Doggy t-shirt.
Obviously doggy style, fam.
Dictionary for pussies. Reverse cowboy. Cowgirl. What? I don't know what it's called.
Hey, what's your favorite sex position?
I really like standing up like against the wall, like doggy but standing up. That's really good too.
Doing what, sir?
Doggy standing up.
Okay.
We do it to your doggy style. Big bow wow in your mouth. Bow wow.
Juicy! Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of Denmo's original channels on how he mainly blew up. Since the actual rape and the assault case took place in 2020, he's been literally up in these YouTube streets since around 2017, 2018. So obviously the victim knew that he was actually mainly a YouTuber and he was a more famous YouTuber, given all the stuff he has going down. He's best known for filming like a lot of cause fire parties, filming a lot of ratchet stuff that's actually going on, and all these things. You've seen like a lot of cause people, whenever they have their days off, especially on the weekend, they actually want to go have a good time and actually want to get themselves loose, get themselves shit-faced, get themselves wasted. That's definitely known when you're dealing with college campuses. A lot of them, if not all, especially all around North America, right? So you're seeing all this stuff when you see like a lot of young college students mainly going at it, mainly have their ratchetivity moments and everything else down to the T. This is his history. This is Denmo's main history when he deals with prank videos, college party videos, and everything else. Now, at least he actually exposes, college party nightlife and everything else, which I will give him credit on. But due to the fact that a lot of universities are actually keen to his popularity and keen to, all the stuff that like a lot of college students mainly do party-wise, if they do not want to have that type of party win a reputation, Jack has literally been banned from his main college, his alumnus that he actually graduated from, and actually did a lot of videos from, McMaster University, because of those things as a result. So it's a lot of pranks, a lot of jokes, and he doesn't really get into the advice until literally around 2-ish years from now, and he has a different channel that actually mainly deals with talking and red pill stuff and everything else that's going to be within the next channel. So I wanted to actually try and correct something in regards to that up in advance. They basically the Canadian media mainly claims that Jack Denmo mainly averages about 10 million views a video. That's a complete lie. His most popular views at 10 million views, but he does have millions upon millions of views, but not in the high 10 millions. But he does average definitely a good high million views when it comes to the video. So the nun video they mainly have with the scary prank in school, that took place before the accusation and eventual conviction actually occurred. Now let's go to Denmo's other channel.
Oh my god, girl, stop. I feel like we'd get along. What's your name?
Nice to meet you.
John, nice to meet you. What do you guys?
Maddie.
Hey Maddie, what's up?
Matt.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, just gonna go like get some food or something, but What about you guys? What are you up to?
We're headed to the bull ring because our friend is there that we haven't seen in a while.
Oh, so you guys are returning, eh?
Yeah.
Gonna go say hi?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to talk to you more about plaid and being fashionable.
Okay.
So I'll get your number.
My number?
Yeah, and then
Talk about plaid.
amongst other things, yeah.
Okay.
What else do you do besides have good taste?
In fashion
Tops.
or in general?
The shoes could use work, but the shirt's cool.
Ouch, okay, I was gonna give you my number and then you dissed my shoes.
Look at these. These are nice, eh? Bought them at the thrift store.
That's thrifting's the way to go, eh?
You're a thrifter too, eh?
100%. It's the best thing I've ever. I realized it this summer my roommates took me.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm cheap now.
Maybe we'd get along too.
Maybe.
Anyways, it was nice to meet you guys. I gotta run,
Nice to
okay?
meet you.
Me too.
Take care.
You need to be able to make fun of girls in order to get them to be attractive. You guys ever been to someone's house and they have a dog that just won't stop barking? Oh my god, it's so annoying. Just shut the f up. Because the dog knows that if it barks enough, it will get a treat. So that it finally shuts up. That's what your lizard brain is like when you're watching videos on the hub. Oh, it just keeps giving you all these thoughts about girls until your brain is just like, enough is enough. I gotta spank one out right now. Bro, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been there, I've been there, we've all been there. It's like being tortured 24/7, bro, and your brain is holding you hostage like he's a terrorist, and he's just like, oh, you better beat it. Oh, that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Denmo's Pseudo Red Pill channel, his second YouTube channel, in which he actually started up around 2020-2021, shortly after the first accusation of sexual assault took place. So this is what I mean. He started off as a joking channel, but he later evolved that channel into a self-improvement channel, like a pseudo red pill channel and everything else. And him being like in his late 20s, about to be early 30s, trying to actually advise young college students on where they should be. But yet he still has all these skeletons up in his closet, and yet he doesn't even fully has all the dull real world experience when it comes to the whole social world and marriage and everything else. He still has a long way to go in regards to this. You know what I'm saying? He claims he's like a hardcore alpha in game. And the most popular channel that he has, 5 ways porn destroys your brain, right? 1.5 million views, you know, that type of stuff right there. But I'm not going to hate on all the channels that he mainly has. That's not the main issue. The issue is his hypocrisy, and the issue is literally being a very, very shitty role model towards his followers. And that's what I'm mainly concerned about, literally up in this video.
Guilty verdict today in the sexual assault trial of a Hamilton YouTuber. The judge ruling that Jack Densmore didn't get the consent of a woman he had a sexual encounter with 5 years ago. Al Sweeney has the details.
Jack Densmore appeared confident going into court this morning for the verdict.
Can't wait to win.
After the judge brought down that verdict, Densmore was looking toward an appeal.
I'm innocent, and I can't wait to appeal it, man. That's all I gotta say, really. Everybody knows I'm innocent.
30-year-old Densmore calls himself a prankster and comedy content creator, known for posting videos on YouTube.
Everybody was staring at me, which I don't blame them. I'm a great-looking guy.
His postings include videos with university students who appear to be intoxicated. A former McMaster University student accused Densmore of sexual assault after an encounter in 2020. He argued the sex was consensual. But after the trial, Justice John Korchenko ruled that it ought to have been clear to the accused that he had overstepped and she was no longer consenting. He said Densmore mistook her body language for consent as the sexual activity progressed. The judge cited Mr. Densmore's recklessness and willful blindness and failure to take any reasonable steps in the circumstances to ascertain if the complainant consented. And he rejected part of Densmore's testimony in court as unworthy of belief. Hamilton Sexual Assault Center says consent has to be ongoing and is essential to a healthy relationship. There was no comment from the victim after the verdict, and Densmore's lawyer didn't say whether there will be an appeal.
Despite the conviction, Mr. Densmore maintains his innocence with respect to this conviction. We are all shocked and surprised at the verdict.
Densmore will be back in court next month for sentencing. He could get up to 10 years in jail. In the meantime, he's facing an upcoming trial on another charge of sexual assault. Al Sweeney, CHCH News, Hamilton.
Juicy! Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first trial of sexual assault that Denmo literally had to face up in a Hamilton area courthouse, literally up in the Ontario province. Alright? So they have the accusation saying that he's on trial for sexually assaulting a McMaster University student, which is located up in Hamilton, Ontario, which is about a good hour-ish away from Toronto. Now, we know that the story is actually very, very graphic in nature when it comes to sexual assaults, scrambled eggs violations, if you will, which is just very, very unfortunate. When I actually dug into the story the first time, prior to reviewing this, I'm thinking to myself, oh fuck, this is beyond insane. So we know what Denmo mainly does. We know how he posts up some of the most ratchetest shit literally up in YouTube channels mainly going on, and now he's currently on trial dealing with this and putting himself in a much vulnerable position on the legal system to the point where they could literally take his freedom away for a good portion of his time, and his channels, both of his channels, could be at risk of being deplatformed, literally. So as I scroll through all of this, now he has videos in which he schools made students of actually taking consent videos to avoid allegations of rape. But the question with the consent is consent all the way consistent when it comes to that particular woman? And they have to read the body language just to try to make sure they protect themselves from little harm's way so that they don't get themselves up in a vulnerable position from either an actual sexual assault or false sexual assault that actually mainly goes on. Because unfortunately, these false sexual assault charges actually do happen. And then when these men's lives end up getting derailed over false accusations due to those facts. So it's not about being reactive in cases like this, it's more about being proactive on how you handle these types of situations. So the victim here, and what we actually read, he basically remembers, he grabbed his phone trying to record, the scrambled eggs encounter. He's basically trying to make a sex tape, basically, right? And he was basically forced to the student was forced to give Denmo head, right? Around the first date that was supposed to be like a simple hiking dinner. Instead it was some sort of Netflix and chill that they mainly had. The hike didn't occur, nor the dinner occurred. And basically the woman actually pulled away saying, yo, what are you doing? And she was unaware that she was really being filmed throughout the whole process. So he decided to pull his phone away first. And come to find out, he continued actually doing the whole sexual encounter. He continued to actually try to bone her and actually try to basically rape her literally down. Force her doing sex vaginally and everything else. It was just an unfortunate situation. Now, here's the worst part of it all. Here's the thing that makes this whole situation much, much, much more legitimate, right? So as I actually scroll down here, right? Now, prior to this, fall 2019, while the student's first year at McMaster, the student and friends went to the whole Coast Street party that's unofficial, and you got a lot of unofficial homecoming street parties all over universities. That's normal, right? And you got Denmo's actually trying to film YouTube videos and everything else, actually being like a class clown that he is. Word got around mouth that they were filming, and the victim already knew who Denmo was due to the fact that he's a content creator, right? And basically at the time, around 2019, Denmo basically would ask if he would kiss him, basically if he would kiss her for the camera, and the student basically says no at the time. Now later on that year, she was definitely matched with Denmo as well, and Denmo basically contacted her a day later, and they had a little failed date, blah blah blah, and the interaction mainly happened, right? They actually just hung out, basically just watched some film, TV show Brooklyn 99, the Fox TV show, and all that stuff. and that's when, you know, the rape actually occurred. Unfortunately, Denmo fortunately pulled down the shirt, pulled down the dress, actually exposed her tits, which is very unfortunate, and that's when you see a little physical altercation come about based on what I'm reading. And then Denmo continuously called her a slut many different times, forcing the woman to get on the floor, and basically took out the pants, you know, pulled out the hard cock out, get the phallus out, you know, did the forced rape. You know what I'm saying? Forced head and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And that's when shit literally went chaotic, and all the stuff that actually mainly came about, in which he was literally trying to forcefully clap her cheeks and literally jizzed all over her back. And the worst part about it is, yes, he was traumatized, and yes, he ran out of the house. But the worst part about it, after actually she told the girlfriends, is when she went down to the drug market and actually got contraceptives. Then the most important part, she went to the hospital, in which they had a rape kit done to actually verify DNA evidence. That's the thing that actually made the whole evidence much viable, and that's what made it much sick, right? So the court basically heard that the black light detected jizz all over her back, and the nurse gave her the antibiotics to actually protect her against HIV and AIDS, since no condom was used by Denmo. And at that point, that DNA evidence right there with the black lights, okay, in which the rape kit was actually done, and they had the traumatization that was mainly there up at the hospital. And again, it's not believe all women, it's not believe all men, it's believe all evidence that's mainly given. And it is just a sin and a shame and literally traumatized for literally someone to literally go through something like this. Now here's the kicker, y'all. Denmo has been convicted weeks ago of that case. And it is just literally insane to actually, for him to put himself in this position, okay, while you literally desperately like trying to get your rocks out and everything else, and now you're giving advice to young, naive men on self-improvement and game and everything else, but your ass is literally caught up in a fucking rape scandal. Let me scroll down, ladies and gentlemen. I want to try and be very calm of this, because this is literally beyond sick. Now you see Denmo's current girlfriend, you know, they held hands and literally cried because they were found guilty. And the worst part about it is, during the trial, Denmo was literally arrogant throughout the whole trial. He was literally giving out the middle finger right in front of the news cameras on how arrogant he was mainly giving. You think the judge ain't gonna actually like factor that in come later this month, in which his sentencing is supposed to be due? You think he's not gonna factor that part in? And I get it, much of the European courts and much of the courts around North America, we know are actually racial, because I know a lot of white folks can be very arrogant, because I know they get literally let off on the slap of the wrist a lot of times. But let it be someone that's non-white that actually try to literally throw the book at him, especially if it was like a black man. Okay? Now, Judge Kwarchenko, who actually heard the case, actually convicted him. And we know Denmo has the other sexual assault trial that actually mainly came about. So you're seeing all the stuff that mainly, I'm actually just scrolling through all of this here, and it's literally beyond disgusting on what I mainly just saw. Okay? And this is the reason, because all the videos that he done did with campuses, he has been banned from many campuses across the Ontario province. Okay? And that's the crazy part about it. He gets hit and makes himself vulnerable. And say he actually didn't do it. Why put yourself in that position? Why didn't you actually pick up the cues on what this woman was actually trying to say? Okay? Why make yourself vulnerable to these types of ordeals? Okay? And even if they say no, even if the woman pulls away, that's a cue to stop and let be and move on. And because they say, hey, we don't have to actually just actually have sex or anything else. We can still have a good time, whenever, basically have some fun, and whatever you feel comfortable, whatever happens. That would have been the most appropriate way to go. And take note, this is Denmo's first trial in which he was convicted of. His second sexual assault trial is literally ongoing. So I want to ask y'all this, okay? Is Denmo your motherfucking alpha guru? Is he literally your motherfucking alpha guru? While he's giving you all this advice, saying that, hey, men after 30 mainly reach their prime in all areas of life and they be automatically getting the most women, but yet he's up at 30 years old, convicted of a sexual assault trial and a rape trial, who's literally facing years upon years of prison. And the way that his arrogant ass is mainly acting as a judge, you think the judge ain't gonna actually just like keep all that in mind later this month? Is this the YouTube content creator? Is this the public figure that you want to rely on to give you public advice, ladies and gentlemen? That's what I want to ask. And it infuriates me on people giving like horse crap advice, but when you literally peel beyond the layers of their personal life, they become hypocritical because due to the fact that they don't even practice what they mainly preach. They become literally hypocritical all the way back around 2020, and the way that his arrogant ass is still up there, and his second charge, he's charged for the same stuff, including voyeurism, showing himself out up in public, literally around about a year or so ago, around 2021, 2022. Is this the motherfucking alpha guru that you want to rely on seeing? Y'all take a moment to think about it. In the meantime, I'm going to actually just cool my brain off. And whatever happens to his sentencing, whenever the sentencing mainly happens and when it's finalizes, I will definitely be able to report it literally down the line, later on, hopefully this month. Christian Paul for the Nerd Chronicles is signing out. Man, what a very, very sick motherfucker.